So now that I have pretty much all the controls hooked up and functioning, I think we're just about ready to kind of start buttoning up the wires. I did go ahead and get the power switch pretty much all fabricated up on this small little aluminum panel. As you can see, it just something just very elementary, basic, just screws, standoff, plate, and the slide off switch, the same one that came off the main panel itself. And this way it's just pretty much up, down. Oh, there you go. Speaker, I decided, alright, just drill up some holes. And I think this LED right here is for whenever you charge up, it actually comes on, because it doesn't come on during the time when you're actually operating. So, alright, we'll get on with the next section. I want to go ahead and show a little bit of the back side of the trailer, basically where the other controls, the cyclic and the collective, actually connect up into. Real quick and everything else, I've got these two latches right here which essentially hold on everything, but I've also got a sensor lock and everything else. The exhaust comes out, it's for the generator that's back there, which I kind of fabricated up. It actually works really nice. You know, it's one way of kind of keeping exhaust fumes from being able to build up inside of here. This way I can take and shove it in here and essentially run it, close this up, and it keeps it fairly quiet. Don't really have to worry too much about it. It provides enough power to be able to run the entire trailer and the charging system. And this right here, this essentially is the collective and the cyclic. And the way I've got this rigged up is these two lines right here, they go essentially, one goes all the way up over to here to run the cyclic. Well, essentially it's just a cut in the tube, and it kind of controls this potentiometer over here. This basically runs a massage chair wire right here. It's out of the way, it's enough. But the other thing too, with the way it works with the collective, it raises up and it just moves this one right here. This is nothing more than just a trim switch and everything else from another older radio. Basically an analog, so essentially it's just a potentiometer. It goes up and down. But yeah, it seems to work out pretty nice. And I've got a 9-pin DIN jack up here, and I had to take and rewire this to where it would separate all the connections. Other than that, it runs up through a simple network cable all the way up through, and then this way I can take and separate it up on the bus bars. So far, ever since about 2014, it's been working just fine. Didn't really have to touch it that much, just as long as I don't put any gear back in here. I don't have to worry about the thing breaking any wires. But yeah, the generator definitely was a huge asset, and unfortunately it only runs 90 minutes, and it's like a surplus generator. So I'm thinking about eventually upgrading to like a Honda generator. This way I can take and run the thing on demand, and it runs a heck of a lot longer and a little bit more reliable, much quieter. Other than that, it's on here for right now. It's on a couple of nylon embedded sliders here. You know, this way I can take and pull the thing out so I can go and fuel it up a little safely, a little more safely. But then when I set it up on the ground, that plate right there just kind of just pops down. I can easily just take and pull this thing on and off. So, all right. Yeah, the extension cords over there. I've got a network cable plugged in over there. So yeah, that's just a real quick tour. All right, just a quick update. I managed to take and fix all the rest of the small minor gripes that I had with the control stick, with essentially the trim, and get the collective, the cyclic basically connected up. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it's almost ready to where I can go ahead and start buttoning everything up on the back side. We've got all those cables pretty much all bound up, as you can tell, all neatly wrapped up, spliced. For the most part, everything I could get my hands on, I could go ahead and at least tie everything up. When it comes to behind the monitor, though, that's another story. I don't have access to that. So, but nice, neat arrangement. It's a lot easier to find. Pretty much every single wire connection in here. I even found a nice place to put the inverter. It's pretty much wedged in there. You know, secured a lot of these and everything else with just as many needle clamps as I could. So anyways, pretty much have the ailerons again. You know, I'll just do a real quick synopsis. Just aileron, elevator. Now I've got left trim and
trim center.
And I also have a speaker stand here. It's a heck of a lot better to actually hear it this time. Yeah, of course you got your throttle.
Trim center. Trim center.
There's your rudder. Then you got S1. No, this is S2. I've got basically we're sitting right there, and then S1. And I think this potentiometer seems to be sticking a little bit, but yeah, that's really minor. The flap handle, which is also the collective, I've got that hooked up down here on this very bottom one here. And then I went through and got all the wiring arranged for this one right here. Basically, I call it the cyclic, you know, just like your typical helicopter. I've got that hooked up on this bottom one over here. I mean, it takes a little bit to kind of see it, but at least I know it's one more function that I can definitely use. And then, of course, you know, you got all the rest of your switches. There's all your dual rates and everything else. Aileron, and you know, the down is basically just momentary. I'm just going to have highs and lows on that. Yep. And then you get your rudder down. Then you get your gear. Boom. Wow, everything is absolutely working, man. I'm loving it. There's your arm. And that's gonna make one heck of an addition for flying mini quads and everything else. And this way I can just arm it right there on the throttle stick, and boom. And of course you can get your C, D, and then of course I think I'm gonna hold off on G for a second. Let me plug in. Hold on a sec. Hey, look at this. I got an audio port. Hopefully I didn't break it or anything like that. G.
Things are about to get real.
Ooh, subwoofer.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm starting to plug in some of the sounds, just give it a little bit of a check. But other than that, I like the way that this panel is working out. You know, the on-off and everything else. I just kind of pull the radio master off from up here, put it down here because it's basically the master switch now. Next thing I need to do is start running through and making sure that it's going to connect up to another transmitter, as in the buddy box configuration. That's going to be going through this little trainer port right here. And then the other thing too is get the PPM cable hooked up to where I can go ahead and actually take and plug in, let's say, the Crossfire or the Dragon Link. So, and then one of the major ones that I really have to worry about is this coax line right here. Being that FR Sky is using this really cheap one right here, I've got other cables that I'm going to take and maybe attach an SMA female end on this, and then this way I can just take and screw in an SMA male right to the board and have the cable come straight out and up, and this way I'll have an antenna. Whoop.
Trim center.
Hey, nice. Yeah, this way I'll have the antenna located up on top of the trailer, and then this way it'll make it really nice and portable. I can go ahead and just screw in the antenna up there and have a nice little cover that goes up and over. In fact, I even have an access point right up and over here, which I can probably just take and plug the cable straight up through. So other than that, yeah, just let's see what happens on the next one. So all right,